All right, call Allah Yahweh Bashim Al Shai Bashim Dash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone rule well. I am not a member, however, I've entered into their labors. Peace and mercy to the sincere brothers and sisters doing this, whoever you are, whatever your lot may be. And I may be late. I don't really watch a lot of series and all that other stuff, but I happened to stumble upon this one. I'm about to show you. Well, I took a snip of the what came up, but this is the House of David series. And I was thinking, okay, it was a transitional Sabbath, so we're going pretty much 48 hours, right? So from Sunday Eve all the way to Tuesday Eve. And, you ain't supposed to be doing too much on it. I was like, okay, maybe I could watch this House of David. It's biblical, but I knew it wasn't going to be like that. But my goal was to kind of watch it a little bit, then go to the scriptures, and then, poke holes in it just to kind of have an exercise for myself to do. What I wasn't expecting was the disclaimer before the series even started, right? And here's the snippet of it. So that's what that says. So it's the House of David. Okay, some of the events depicted on this series, oh, I'm sorry, in this series may not accurately represent all historical and biblical facts or figures. While here we have made efforts to portray certain aspects of history authentically, creative liberties have been taken for storytelling purposes. Now, as soon as I read that, two things came to mind. One, with this word going out, they really had to put that out there. And two, if you've seen them, they are using Edomites and Ishmaelites in the video. I'm sorry, not the video, in the series. So nobody looks how they're supposed to look. There's the one. And then two, on the opening scene between David, the fight between David and Goliath, David gets struck by a spear, one of the spears Goliath was throwing. Now, even the Canaanites, even the Philistines, uh, look like Ishmaelites and not, or really Arabs. So it's a mix. They look like that, right? Or what the world, the ignorant world would call Middle Eastern. I heard somebody say, Jesus wasn't, so-called, Jesus wasn't black, he's Middle Eastern. What is Middle East? And how is that an ethnicity? How is that a descriptive factor of what somebody looks like? But anyway, so that's how they get around actually portraying, still wrongly portraying the children of Israel in their historical accuracy. And there was one other thing. Oh, and then as they excuse me. So yeah, not only that, so that historically inaccurate, um, but they won't portray. I lost my train of thought because I was trying to do too many things at once. But they won't portray Jake the way he's supposed to look. So instead of they can't do it as just outright Edomites anymore. Nobody's gonna go for that. So that the workaround, right? The way to still be dishonest is to have Ishmael play it. And the second thing was, as they are doing scene transitions, the the same quote unquote Hebrew that they use in the Strongs, right? This one here, this Assyrian script is what they were using. But chronologically in David's time, this script could not have been used. All right. And I pulled that up here too. So in David, if we go through that, okay, the children of Israel entering into Canaan, right? And if the script, actually, let me get this. Uh, the language of Canaan. We need that real quick. Okay, Isaiah 18, 19 and 18. So we'll go to that. Actually, I'll just put it here, 19 and 18. Okay, so this is message to Egypt. Now we understand that this is not the Egypt of the first captivity. This is synonymous with bondage, captivity, obviously, because we were well out, chronologically speaking, we were well out of the physical, actual landmass that is Egypt. way after Isaiah's time. Okay, so that language of Canaan is the Paleo Hebrew, and I don't know if they. I should have left that up. Let me just read it, and then we'll go over the chronological because I want to see if they left it up. But that Paleo is what it is, right? So it's our. Dang, I don't have the. Well, pull up the Paleo Hebrew. You can do that. You should have pictures of that at least in your phone or something along those lines, right? Uh, let's see. Where are you? Where are you? So boom, yeah. This is the ancient Hebrew, the the I'm not the Paleo or the Phoenician. This is the script right here. This is what we actually use. This is a bastardized perversion. Okay, this is a Syrian script. So again, boom, already wrong. So these creative liberties, uh, how dare you? If and I knew, and I only made it to the first part of the scene where David was struck by the spear that Goliath threw, and um, then it cuts back to like a year prior. Then it tells the story from a year prior, and from that point I couldn't even. I think it was like 10 minutes in, and I said, no, I said, fuck this. This is bullshit. I threw up curses on anybody involved that didn't speak up with the making of this mess. All right, and this is the also a part again of covering up the faces of the judges thereof. Um, So let me go back. We'll read 19 and 18 real quick. All right. In that day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan and swear to Yahweh of hosts. One shall be called the city of destruction. All right. In that day shall there be an altar to the Lord in the midst of the land of Egypt and a pillar of the border thereof the Lord to the Lord. Let's see. And it shall be for a sign and for a witness unto the Lord of the host of the land of Egypt, for they shall cry unto Yahweh because of their oppressors, and he shall send them a savior, a great one, and he shall deliver them. And that's what we're waiting on. So if I go back, let's go back to language of Canaan. Oh, that's right. Not that. How do I want to do this? Let's see. Uh, because again, we had writing systems, we had a form of communicating and trading and things of that nature. So there had to be, right, a a writing system. How the hell? Oh, that's how I can't spell Phoenician. Godly. Is this C Xian? I know this to be true. I've studied this out already. Okay, yes, linguistically, the ancient language spoken by the Israelites during the period of Isaiah, an Iron Age Canaanite dialect, which was written in Paleo Hebrew script. Okay, nearly identical to the Phoenician. Connects Paleo Hebrew and Phoenician. It helps to separate spoken language from the written alphabet. Okay, spoken dialects is shared Canaanite tongue. Phoenicians and ancient Hebrews were not two completely distinct languages. Instead, they were highly overlapping, right? Because going into that, that's something that naturally happens as well. Over hundreds of years, going in, taking that land bit by bit to, break apart and give each tribe their portion. So it's only natural, culturally, that things mix, that things split and are mix and overlap. Okay, let's see. A sailor from the Phoenician city of Tyre and an Israelite farmer from Jerusalem could easily converse with each other because their grammar, syntax, and vocabulary were virtually identical. All right. When he calls it the language of Canaan, he is accurately describing Hebrew's geographical and linguistic origin as the regional dialect of Canaan. All right. And there's the Proto-Canaanite script. That one had a little bit more pictures. Okay, so see, there you go, inspired by Egyptian hieroglyphs. Why? Because we were delivered out of Egypt. We were there for almost half a cent. I'm sorry, not half a century, multiple centuries. So, of course, the customs and the things of those cultures bled over for to a certain extent, because we understand, the Lord said, "Don't be as the heathen nation." There are certain things that you don't do as far as their ritual sacrifices and practices and things of that nature. But as far as everyday culture and what you ate within within confines of the law, all of those things overlap. Okay, that is just a simple historical fact. So there you have it right there with that part. So those were the two things, and that's the only things that we're really just gonna hone in on, because that's all I watched. So and then the screen won't record if I pull it up. If I pull up any type of physical, not physical media, but anything with moving on the screen, it ain't gonna do unless I do YouTube. But we ain't actually. Let's see if we can find it on YouTube. All right, so that's supposed to be David. Oh shit! Pause it. Take the sound off. Okay, so you see that? That script, how could it be that already lying? And then right here, that's supposed to be Goliath. Now, how the hell is a Phoenician or a Canaanite? These are dark nations of people. Who the fuck is that? And I believe that's supposed to be Saul. I can't remember. But yeah, when that's supposed to be David. All right, and if you show, I don't know if it'll show it. It probably won't. Oh, there's Samuel. I guess they got the beard right. But how the hell is Samuel some stringy haired devil anyway? Right, those are supposed to be the Canaanites, and they were supposed to be the Israelites. Supposed to be. That's supposed to be Saul. Right, you see he's throwing, or yeah, Goliath is throwing multiple spears, and then boom, David is hit. Where the fuck in the Bible does it say that? And that's what these devils do. They put that disclaimer out there so people that's supposed to quail folks. But you're telling the story, you're telling biblical stories, and you have an obligation, should, but this wicked place, to be biblically accurate. You don't need creative liberties. You need to tell it fucking right. But if they're breathing, they're lying. So if we go to First Samuel 17, all right. Now the Philistines, who are the Philistines? Who is that? Dang it. What am I looking for? Yeah, I'm already here. Now the Philistines. Immigrant. So it means immigrant and an inhabitant of Philistia, descendants of Mizraim or Egypt who immigrated from Caphtor or Crete to the western sea coast of Canaan. And excuse my dog, he's snoring as he always does, but he waits for me to do videos before he starts snoring. um, so let's do Genesis. I think, is it 10? No, let me see. Ham. Let's do Ham. Because now we're going to get their lineage. Noah had 500 years. He begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay. And we understand that Ham is according to the Zondervan's dictionary, before they changed it, uh, Ham is the progenitor of the dark races except the Negro. And the Bible does a good job, obviously, of separating the nations, and it talks about, these are the nations, and separated by their land and their tongue. Okay, so no so-called Jesus, whom the world ignorantly referred to him as, did not speak Aramaic. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Okay, self same. Uh-huh. And the sons of Noah, right? Ham, the father of Canaan. That's what I wanted. Saw the nakedness of his father. Okay, so Ham. So how, if these are the dark races and they maintain their color because Yahweh Shai had to escape into uh the land of the Hamites. So he definitely would stick out like a sore thumb if they look like Ishmaelites or if they look like Edomites. He would definitely stick out like a sore thumb. Okay, let's go back. Now, when did them boys get into it? I know it's Samuel 17, 1 Samuel 17. We're going to scroll and find. Okay, there went out, so yeah, boom, here we go. 17 and 4. And there went out a champion out of the camp of the Philistines named Goliath of Gath, whose height was 6 cubits and a span. All right, he had his helmet, blah, 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 blah. He had greaves of brass on his leg, yada, yada, yada. And the staff of his spear was like a weaver's beam, and his spear's head weighed 600 shekels of iron. Okay, so, all right, basically he taunts the Israelites and mocks the Lord. Okay, I said, I defy the armies of Israel this day. Give me a man that we may fight together. All right, when Saul and Israel and all of Israel heard those words of the Philistines, they were dismayed and greatly afraid. David, now here he comes. Okay, boom, boom, boom. We're gonna skip. David was the youngest, right? Okay, carried the 10. Oh, so here we go. Moving on down to 20, he accepts the challenge. David rose early in the morning, led the sheep with the keeper, and went. Okay. All right, for Israel and the Philistines had put the battle in array and army against army. All right, so that was the scene right there that you were seeing. Okay, skip, skip, skip. Okay, and now we're gonna skip down to where he kills Goliath. All right, and when the words were heard, which David spake, they rehearsed them before Saul, and he sent for him. Okay, David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine. All right, Saul doubts him, but David just prior to killed a lion with his bare hands, right? Because he was the good shepherd. He wasn't a hireling, all right, that is going to leave the flock when things get tough. All right, 144 call. Hello, Yahweh, Bashmi Shai, Shumakakwadash. All right, and yeah, he didn't want to wear the armor. All right, Philistine came on, and this is 41, and drew near unto David, and the man that bare the shield went before him. Saw David in disdain, he was but a youth, and ruddy, and of fair countenance. Now, did they change this? And this is something we shouldn't even have to. This shouldn't even have to be something you worry about. Did they change the definition? What did they do? What did they mess up? Right? So this just this is bull. I want ready. Ah, look what they did. Look what they did. Well, well, well. They did. Get me out of this, man. There we go. vibrant complexion. Huh. And Elder Malcolm has done this before too. And it has showed accurately. You see how things are slowly changing. That's how they do. That's how they get you to forget. And especially when they attack academia, they attack the children with new speak and new definitions until, you know, the very next generation, they know a little bit less than the last. That is how the story of Yahushua coming, and some accepted him and some believed, and talking about the circumcision versus the uncircumcision. That's how that came about. 400 years of captivity, Greek captivity, not being allowed to know who you were or practice what the Lord gave you, practice your heritage, will do that to you. Now look at that. A ruddy cow. And this is more of actually my color. I'm brown with red undertones. I would be considered ruddy. Tawny. Swarthy is dark, very dark. So let's see. Let's see how they gonna talk to me, baby. I want to know. While both describe warm, earthy tones, they can represent distinctly different. Well, yeah, by the very definition, of course. Okay, but you see it. All right. Let's do ruddy animals. Look at that. Look at that. Boom. Ruddy animals. Anyway. Okay. Here we go. 1 Samuel 17:43, and the Philistine said unto David, Am I a dog that thou comest to me with staves? And the Philistine cursed David by his gods, right? David says, Thou comest to me with sword and a spear and with a shield, but I come to thee in the name of Yahweh of hosts, the power of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast defied. Okay? Alright, came to pass, this is verse 48. He arose, he drew nigh to meet David, right? Now in that scene, David is running, he's standing there throwing spear after spear. Alright, but according to the scriptures, they went head on. Alright, he drew nigh to meet David, that David hasted and ran towards the army to meet the Philistine. And David put his hand in his bag and took thence a stone and sling it, smote the Philistine in his forehead, that the stone sunk into his forehead and fell upon his face to the earth. Now, this scene shows David being struck by a spear. Creative liberty, though, right? That's creative liberty. Um, God, I'm so tired of y'all. I cannot. I am so tired of y'all. We don't need this because I don't want to get a copyright. They're gonna hit your boy with one. All right, so all the dribble. Um, we're gonna get Revelation 22. We can keep it in this one. Yes, Revelation 22. and 18, I think, yeah, 18 and 19. For I testify to every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book, and if any man shall add unto these things, God shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take away from the words of this book of this prophecy, God shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city, and from the things which are written in this book. Now, obviously, this is to the prophets, the actual Israelite prophets, those who would reap, upon the return of Yahushua. But that goes to say, like, you can make it fit, because if you're going to retell a Bible story, you are obligated to tell it the right way. There's no such thing as creative liberty, unless you're talking about enhancing, making it look better, making it look more, appealing to the imagination. But you changing the story. It also says it in Deuteronomy 4 and 2. We'll get that as well. I do remember that one. All right, ye shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that ye may keep the commandments of Yahweh your power, which I command you. And again, this is to the Israelites, because the contract is with them, not with the world, which is all of the nations. It is not with everybody. It has never been open to everybody. It never will be. But I'm simply just making it fit, because they take these scriptures into their hands and they misuse them, right? Teach lies, spread lies, and they have it. This is nothing more than just them redoing what the Renaissance was, which was a covering up of all the truth in many different instances, of course. What is it, Obadiah, the pride of thine heart? And they bringing them Noahide laws back, boy. And these finna get this right here, this whole thing right here, get your head cut off. And just might. Straight to the point, Obadiah 1 and 3. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, and that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. And you are on your way down, very steadily cruising to your downfall. And because he knows, right, he's got a short time, he gonna come down with that wrath very, very soon. So let's skim over some more about the conquest of Canaan, or I'm sorry, the chronological order of this thing. So we hit our points about, David not being struck with the spear of Goliath. The complexion of the Canaanites and the Israelites is wrong. And the script that they use obviously is wrong, and that's how you have those people over there, their hands were all over it. Okay, so the conquest of Canaan, right? You can find that throughout the um, earlier portions of the Bible. Okay, after Exodus, all right, and okay, northern and southern campaign. And it's 1406 BC, so 1400 years before Yahushua returned, or before Yahushua comes for the first time, at least in the form he did. All right, and you go through the period of the judges. So conquest of by Joshua, right? From Moses died. Joshua took over. Joshua and Caleb, and they fought and rooted out the Canaanites out of that land. All right, why did they lose it? Because of their wicked practices, which is what the Lord said. Wicked. Uh huh. Because the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet complete, right? Yeah, okay, so Genesis 15. All right, and then he warns them in Leviticus not to defile themselves as the Canaanite nations did, all right, stating that the land itself vomits out its inhabitants, all right, because of their detestable practices. And what did we do? The exact opposite. And that is why we were vomited or spewed out of the land, and why we are in a second Egypt. All right, another captivity. Cool. Okay. So boom, that's what happened there. Now, um, then they divided land. Obviously, each tribe to their portion. Southern or not yet. Let me not say Southern and Northern Kingdom. Obviously, Levi is a part of the 12 tribes, but they were counted separate when it came to the divvying up of the land. So Judah and Benjamin were in an area, and then the rest of the 10 tribes they were fanning out and getting their land over time, over a short dispensation of time. Okay, the fuck is Cisjordan? Oh, Transjordan, the tribes of Reuben. Okay, Cisjordan. Anyway, so now you're in the land. Everybody is, according to their tribes. You fast forward. It's the periods of the judges. All right, so this is 1382, 1,050 years before Yahushua. Now, all of these we're talking about, uh, um, like through Samson, story of Samson and stuff like that, right? Because the Lord was supposed to be the king, or he is, but the Lord is the king. Yahweh is the king of Israel, but the people wanted give us a king, right? And then Samuel was like, you know what y'all are saying? And the Lord was like, was it Samuel? I believe it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Give us a king. All right, if we fast forward to this part, and Samuel's like, yeah, y'all know what y'all you asking for, and then so Samuel went to the Lord. He entreated of the Lord, and he was like, don't worry about what they say. It is me. It is, they look, give them what they want. So then Samuel lets them know, all right, you gonna get a king, but he's gonna be a cruel king. All right, you gonna wish you never asked for it. Which, hey, as the time progressed, King Saul started losing his mind. Okay. And then if we fast forward, so David captures the city, or David consolidates. He did all the military campaign of consolidating the land and the people and putting the heathen under his boot. All right, and they paid tribute. Um, then the temple was built through Solomon because David had too much blood on his hands. Not that the Lord didn't love him, but you know he was used for one job. Solomon is used for another. Okay. And then you fast forward, Solomon goes off and the kingdom splits. As the kingdom splits, you have northern kingdom. So when the Lord is talking about Israel, and O Judah, it is him addressing one nation, but because they are split, he speaks to them both. He mentions them both, right? Northern kingdom and southern kingdom. All right, so that was usually consisting of the tribes of Judah and Benjamin. It's also Levi. They just don't mention Levi. Um, Let me see. It doesn't say it verbatim, but let's see. I want to see something. And then we'll scroll back up. Oh, look at that. Yes, you're completely correct. While the Levites were scattered throughout all 12 tribes, the tribe of Levi overwhelmingly joined and stayed with the southern kingdom. See what I'm saying? You gotta, man, they didn't did some updates to this here. Okay, so, all right, then here's the split. Boom. Um, Northern and southern being split. Okay. And I'm mentioning the split because that could not have been. That was 1,000 years almost. Right? Oh, I'm sorry. 500 years, damn near, before the Northern Kingdom went into the Assyrian captivity, and they would have adopted that script, right? Babylon. Oh no, that was almost 1,000 years. That's 500 years before Yahushua. So 605. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that was you couldn't have used that Assyrian script back then. But anyway, okay. So after the split, after Solomon goes off, now we fast forward to the different ones. Obviously, you have Babylon, Medo-Persian, all right, the Greek and the Greco-Roman kind of go together because these E's and those E's are the same E's, just different times, different, yeah, different dispensations, not even different dispensations, uh, different time frames. Because as you can see, it continues right there from 331 to 63, and then 63 all the way to 476 AD, to where that was the fall of that beast, whose deadly wound was healed. He had a wound unto death, but he was healed, and now we are in the healed portion of Rome 2.0 slash Babylon slash Egypt. And the Bible uses, code for this place in that manner. It is consistent throughout the scriptures. And here it goes in. So the Assyrian script, this is what I asked it. So the Assyrian script of ancient Hebrew couldn't have been used during David's time, right? Could not. And then there are no vowel points. So there's no A, E, I, O, U, or E, or U's. There are A's, obviously, but there's no U's and there's no E's. That's what I meant. So when they're talking about it couldn't have been that there were no U's. It could not have been used during the King David's time. Uh-huh. Yes, the paleo. Now I want to see. Did they F this image up? Talk to me. Let me see. Oh, there. Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's the paleo. 1000 BC to 135 Common Era. That's a long time. Phoenician. Well, well, well. Oh man, did I just do that? Bring it back. Okay. Okay. But yeah, there you go. There you have it. Uh, that's just something I wanted to get on. I wanted to touch on. Very, very um, elementary or rudimentary scriptures that we got. These are basic things that you can do, uh, and it's good for exercise as far as sharpening your spiritual sword. I wouldn't suggest watching the series, but if you do it with an eye of a heavy scrutinization, and it should spark you to, in each little scene, go to the scripture and reread it and see just how much creative liberty they took. So with that being said, man, I pray you're edified. Shalom.